Everybody wants to know, how did we get the Bible? And in this course, we're going to take a look specifically at the New Testament. We'll begin by talking about inspiration, and I'm going to talk about it specifically in relationship to the original compositions of the New Testament books. How did that work? How does the human role mesh with the divine role? For example, you get issues like the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. They cover a lot of the same material, but they don't agree in wording and even in content. How does inspiration work with that? Because the Synoptic Gospels are not unique in that respect. So that's where we'll begin our discussion. From that point, we'll move to canon and canonicity. Now, those terms relate to the process of recognizing which books should be given sacred status, which books should be included in the New Testament. The early church had lots of debates over this, and we'll talk about what they discussed and how they reached their conclusions. From that point, we'll get into copies of the New Testament. What did scribes do? In the case of the New Testament, it's only later on that you get really professional scribes. Initially, you didn't have a really good situation for copying because the church was under persecution. So we'll take a look at the different eras of transmission of the New Testament and how it got into the modern day. During the course, I will be showing you specific manuscripts. We'll be looking at lots of actual examples so that we can see what scribes did, mistakes they made, corrections they made. You'll be looking at the actual material that scholars today and in the previous couple centuries used to produce the text of the New Testament that was used as the basis of your translation. So we're going to be looking at transmission process, what we call critical editions. Believe it or not, in the 19th and 20th century, there were a lot of manuscript discoveries that really influenced how your New Testament looks today. So we'll be talking about all of that. Eventually, we will get to translation philosophies. Not all English translations sound the same. Well, there are reasons for that, and one of the reasons is the whole philosophy of approach to translation. We'll be talking about what translators do and how they think about what they're doing. Finally, we're going to talk about debates over the text of the New Testament. Specifically, we'll get into the King James only controversy. That's always a hot item in this course, so I didn't want to exclude it. I think you're going to be fascinated by it. So join me in taking this fascinating course